Walt Disney Company appears especially proud of their new theme park adventure in Abu Dhabi. So proud that Bob Iger himself brought the company's plans to a very unlikely bedfellow at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. Let's talk about President Donald Trump praising the Walt Disney Company's theme park plans for Abu Dhabi here on That Park Plays.
We have got El Trumpo, U.S. President Donald J. Trump in the news, who praised Disney's Abu Dhabi theme park after Bob Iger presented the plans to him personally in the Oval Office. Vash, I think we have some audio of what happened when Bob said that we are going to actually be doing a theme park in Abu Dhabi.
I didn't know that. I just, you're telling me now for the first time.
So, yeah, Trump didn't know that, first of all. But President Donald Trump, of course not known as Disney's best friend, is throwing surprising support behind Disney's new theme park in Abu Dhabi, praising the project during a trade summit in the United Arab Emirates, and revealing that Disney CEO Bob Iger personally presented the plans to him recently in the Oval Office. Disney, I see their new theme park is going to be incredible, folks. Bob Iger was in my office the other day. He was showing it to me. It's going to be incredible.
The name Disney, I see the new theme park is going to be incredible. Bob Iger was in my office the other day and he was showing it to me. It's going to be incredible.
The comments, which came at the tail end of the week, long trade mission to the Middle East, mark a stark shift in tone from the president, who has frequently criticized Disney in recent years. His praise now comes amid an economic push to strengthen ties between the United States and the Gulf region, a mission that has so far yielded over $200 billion in deals, including a major Boeing aircraft order and energy partnerships with American companies. Trump's remarks raise eyebrows not only because of his past criticisms of Disney, but also because of the high-level nature of the presentation. While most theme park deals are handled through legal teams and international development liaisons, this one was brought straight to the desk of the President of the United States by Disney's CEO, a man who has notoriously opposed Trump. It is a signal that Disney views the project as more than a regional expansion. It is a global prestige play, but still the context surrounding this newfound alliance is important. So Vash, Disney and Trump, not typically the best of friends.
Not typically, no. And that that feud kind of goes back to when I believe Trump actually had Bob Iger on a board. I believe it was his business board or
he did.
Or corporate board. Yeah, and Bob Iger famously... go ahead, please.
He left it in 2017, I believe.
Yes, and that's, ever since then, he hasn't been obviously the biggest Trump fan, and for obvious reasons. I believe that was over the Paris Accords, if I'm not mistaken, and Trump taking the U.S. out of those. I think it's fascinating, this kind of I don't know, interaction that's at play right here, because you would think that Trump might maintain his ire for Bob Iger, especially with his recent truth posts and so forth, criticizing
Bob
Iger. his Bob Iger for Bob Iger. Yes. Because he has criticized them on numerous occasions, especially over ABC News and so forth. We covered that a lot on WWE Pro Show. But I was just surprised that Bob Iger would actually show these plans off to Trump in the Oval Office. But I suppose it makes sense with the timing. Go ahead.
Well, no, it definitely, especially with Trump going over there, for the the big talk that he just did over there with those folks. I could definitely see Bob, keeping him appraised of the situation in that regard. It is an odd move for Bob to actually go to the White House, to the Oval Office, and lay the plans for Abu Dhabi on the desk of Trump, especially given how quickly this all came to pass. Like, they didn't sign the agreement, according to the Morale CEO, until the 29th or the 30th of April. Right. And they were set to, and then they went live with it the first week of May. So, I mean, they had very little time to put together, this massive press event. And Bob, I guess, still had time to make a pit stop over in Washington, D.C. and present the information to the president. Yeah,
that's pretty odd. Man, it's kind of interesting how these two events have lined up in such a way, and especially brilliantly for the Walt Disney Company, because obviously we knew that Q2 quarter was going to be, the prospects were looking very dim, and then all of a sudden this deal kind of goes through at the perfect time by which they can announce this on the morning of the earnings call, and to be honest, people were less concerned about the earnings and more concerned about this new theme park venture that we know is really going to amount to probably a one-time fee up front and then a very small royalty fee after that. It's not going to be a traditional theme park setup that we've seen from maybe it's like say Paris or Shanghai or any of those different ventures. This is probably going to be more like Tokyo. So, Bob's doing the salesman pitch, right? He's trying to, I think, indenture himself to the Trump administration, or at least maybe bury the hatchet at least somewhat, and maybe cool the room down when it comes to, maybe pulling of licenses for ABC News or not approving transactions and all that. That could really upend Disney's plans here.
Yeah, somebody just said in the chat, like, do you think this is because they're trying to stall the government looking into Disney? Yeah, here it is. Ninja Pat 15 says Bob is trying to delay the look into Disney. Yeah, that FCC inquiry into Disney. I do believe that they quoted a certain website as citation number 9 in that complaint called That Park Place. So just wanted to throw that one out there because I'm very proud of
I believe. Well, who wrote that article? I think it was one Montenaro, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, no, it was some guy named Montenaro, some guy with 2 M's in his name, some guy whose initials are
Indeed.
Yes. No, it's interesting. It's like, when it comes to Middle Eastern money, it's the one thing that can bring disparate American entities together.
And that's kind of how Trump felt about the UAE. It's like, look, listen, if you want this region of the world to be a tourism powerhouse, then let's focus on what would bring us together money wise or economic wise, and let's put these past squibbles here in the Middle East to bed. And that's where the Abraham Accords came out of. So to that end, it doesn't just work for Americans, it works for other people abroad as well.
Absolutely. But, we're hearing a lot about this Abu Dhabi theme park. We're hearing that it's going to be a lot of like basically what we've heard is that in typical Disney fashion, the concept art is going to be nothing like what the creation actually looks like. We're hearing that it's going to be almost entirely indoors, not just, partially indoors, the way they've been kind of trying to push it. But the one thing that is probably still going to exist will be that giant crystalline structure in place of a castle. I don't understand it at all, but apparently that's going to be a big thing there. I don't know why you wouldn't have just made like the castle from Aladdin or something like that. That kind of seems like a slam dunk right there. But and we're even seeing reports that it might even be more affordable for Americans to go to Disneyland Abu Dhabi than to go to Walt Disney World, for instance, just because I don't know if that is a good thing for Abu Dhabi or if that is just how wild the Walt Disney World prices are starting to get.
I think that's more of a commentary of how wild Walt Disney World prices are, because they have just exploded to just crazy levels in recent years, and they have way outpaced the price of inflation. In fact, I was actually just sent something about Disneyland prices. I know it's not necessarily Disney World, but if you look at Disneyland prices over time, I can't find that chart right now. Maybe I'll include that in post here on your screen. But if you look at those Disneyland prices, I mean, if you compare them to previous anniversaries, right now it's the 70th anniversary, it is crazy how much this price has jumped. And when you look at the entertainment offerings or the attractions on offer, they really haven't moved that much in terms of, increasing that value in order to reflect those price increases. Same thing largely exists at Walt Disney World. It's just crazy. So Abu Dhabi being cheaper, I bet, because it's going to be an indoor theme park. It's going to be maybe a little bit smaller than what Walt Disney World has on offer right there. I can definitely see that, and it's probably going to be built with better amounts of quality because somebody else is going to be paying for it.
Vash, watching this video, I can only make one big observation here. Gentlemen, get you a girl that looks at you the way Josh DiMauro looks at Bob Iger.
I love that. He did that during the interview as well with CNBC or something.
Such adoration. Just. Oh my goodness.
Thanks for watching That Park Plays News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media accounts.